Officials from the Syrian regime and the Kurdish People's Protection Units sat on the negotiating table on Wednesday in the Russian base located in the Syrian port city of Latakia. Russia convinced the regime and the YPG to discuss issues at the Hemim Airbase. The two sides agreed to establish joint commissions on the constitution, administration, education, and military issues, according to news reports, noting that regime ministers will also take part in these commissions. The head of Syrian intelligence, Ali Mamlouk, reportedly participated in the meeting. The UN Security Council was asked Tuesday to vote on a resolution supporting a ceasefire in Libya in what would be the first binding text adopted since fighting flared in April last year. The United Kingdom, which has been drafting a text for 3 weeks, called for the vote to take place on Wednesday, diplomatic sources said. The position of Russia, which blocked a draft resolution last week, is unknown. The resolution affirms the need for a lasting ceasefire in Libya at the earliest opportunity without preconditions. It aims to end fighting between the UN-recognized government of National Accord in Tripoli and eastern-based military commander Khalifa Haftar. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres is expected to visit Pakistan on February 16th, a spokesperson for the Foreign Office has said, as the country prepares for an international conference on Afghan refugees. The spokesperson said Guterres' participation in the international conference to mark 40 years of Afghan refugees' presence in Pakistan, a new partnership for solidarity, and scheduled for February 17th and 18th, is an acknowledgement of the country's hospitality towards the refugees. The spokesperson said Pakistan is hosting the international conference in collaboration with the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, wherein the UN chief is said to present his keynote speech during the conference, and he will be apprised of Pakistan's stance on the Kashmir issue during his visit. The current leaders of Somalia and the breakaway territory of Somaliland have met for the first time in the latest diplomatic effort by Ethiopia's Nobel Peace Prize-winning Prime Minister. Somali presidential spokesman Abiy Donar Mohammed confirmed that the meeting was brokered by Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia's capital. Ethiopia's government has not commented publicly on the talks, which occurred on the sidelines of an African Union gathering. Somaliland broke away from Somalia in 1991. Despite lacking international recognition, Somaliland has maintained its own independent government, currency, and security system. Bernie Sanders won New Hampshire's high-stakes Democratic primary on Wednesday, according to U.S. network projections, leaving rivals including party stalwart Joe Biden in his wake as he stoked his claim to challenge President Donald Trump in November. Sanders, the flag-bearer for the party's progressive wing, had 26% of votes, with most of the count complete in the northeastern state where he beat Hillary Clinton in 2016. Indiana ex-mayor finished in second place at 24% as he readied for the more difficult battlegrounds ahead. China on Wednesday reported its lowest number of new coronavirus cases since late January, lending weight to a prediction from its senior medical advisor that the outbreak could be over by April. China's foremost medical advisor on the outbreak said the numbers of new cases were falling in some provinces, and some forecast the epidemic would peak this month. Total cases of the new coronavirus in China have hit 44,653, according to health officials, including 2,015 new confirmed cases on Tuesday. It was the lowest daily rise in new cases since January 13th. Japan's health ministry said Wednesday that 39 new cases of a virus have been confirmed on a cruise ship quarantined at a Japanese port. The update brings the total found on the Diamond Princess to 174 cases. The ministry also said the virus was confirmed in an official who participated in the initial quarantine checks the night the ship returned to Yokohama port near Tokyo on February 3rd. The quarantine official is being treated in the hospital. The new cases bring Japan's total to 203 people infected by the new virus. A member of the ruling coalition said that Lebanon needs the help of the International Monetary Fund or the IMF to draft a rescue plan and decide whether to repay its $1.2 billion euro bond maturing next month. With the country facing its worst financial crisis in decades after months of protests, Parliament Speaker Nabil Berri said Lebanon should form a task force comprising the Premier, Ministers of Economy and Finance, as well as legal and financial experts. The committee would begin work in parallel to making a request to the IMF. Speaker Berri made it clear, though, that Lebanon wouldn't seek an IMF package like Argentina in 2018 because the Lebanese public couldn't accept the conditions that the fund would likely impose. Global share markets nudged higher on Wednesday amid hopes the worst of the coronavirus in China may have passed, although prevailing uncertainty about the outbreak kept investors away. MSCI's broadest index of Asia-Pacific shares outside Japan was up 0.9%, while Chinese shares reversed early losses to trade up 0.41%. Oil futures, which have been in a downtrend since the start of the year, rose in Asia from 13-month lows due to budding optimism about the virus and hopes that output cuts by major producers will support prices. Major Japanese technology investor SoftBank Group said Wednesday its net profit plunged nearly 70% for the 9 months to December as investments in share companies such as WeWork and Uber took a hit. Its bottom line profit lost 69% for the period as the firm suffered an operating loss of 13 billion yen. The company said in a statement the operating loss was largely due to a decrease in the fair values of investments, including Uber and WeWork and its 3 affiliates. The company did not publish its outlook for the year to March 2020. Sebastian Vettel is Ferrari's first choice to partner Charles Leclerc next year, team boss Matteo Binotto said, despite speculation that they want 6 times world champion Lewis Hamilton. The 32-year-old German had a difficult and disappointing 2019 season, outperformed by Leclerc in the young Windsper's first year at Ferrari, and is out of contract at the end of 2020. Hamilton is in a similar position with Formula One champions Mercedes, although the Briton is expected to stay and met Ferrari chairman John Elkann last year. Multiple international media have reported that the Chinese Grand Prix, scheduled for April 19 in Shanghai, will be cancelled or postponed due to the coronavirus. Formula One bosses are expected to make the announcement on Wednesday, claimed American sports media group ESPN and several British newspapers. A host of sporting events in China have already been affected by the epidemic. These events include the World Indoor Athletics Championships, Olympics qualifiers for boxing and women's basketball, football's Chinese Super League, as well as international golf tournaments in China, Thailand, and Singapore. 4 people who survived a month adrift in the Pacific were recovering in the Solomon Islands on Wednesday after an ordeal that claimed the lives of 8 of their companions, including a baby. The group from Papua New Guinea's province said they survived by eating coconuts found floating in the sea and collected rainwater in a bowl during their 32 days adrift. According to news reports, the group set off from the province on December 22nd, intending to celebrate Christmas in Carteret Islands, about 100 kilometers away. But survivor Dominic Staley said their small boat capsized and a number of the group drowned.